guys, it's Katie. Welcome back to my channel. I am so incredibly glad that you guys are here. Hope you're all having a great day and hope y'all are sat and prepared for this video. Get you a snack, get you a beverage, get you a whole meal, because this is gonna be a long one. I did this video sometime around October and you guys really seem to like it, so I thought I would do it again, especially because I haven't had a 5-star since said video. October 2023. Yeah, so at the beginning of the year I was thinking like, ooh, like what videos should I do this year? Like what should I start filming? Like just kind of like brainstorming, you know? And this was one of the first ones that I wanted to do for that reason, because I wanted to find a new 5-star read and I love filming the last one and you guys seem to love it, so I thought it'd be perfect, right? Wrong. Mind you, I'm literally filming this the day that it goes up because I just hadn't filmed an intro for it yet. This took me a long time, and I know this is probably normal for this video, but considering that I hadn't had a 5-star since October, I really thought it would have been less time. I really thought I was gonna get lucky in January and just be like, ooh, 5-star first book I read, even though that would have made this video boring. So I'm kind of glad that didn't happen, and in the end we do get a 5-star, and I am pretty happy about that, obviously. Like I said though, I started this at the very beginning of the year, so every single book that I started and finished the beginning of this year is in this video, or at least mentioned in the video. There's a few that I didn't really film for one reason or another, which I end up explaining anyways when that time comes. Two other things, I also read quite a few audiobooks, but I didn't include those because I just knew they weren't going to be a 5-star, and this video is already incredibly long as it is. And there were also 2 books that I started at the end of last year that I finished at the beginning of this year. I just didn't include those because they weren't 5-star. So I was like, I'm just not gonna do that. Anyways, hope y'all are ready. Hope y'all are excited. Let's go ahead and try and find a 5-star read together. As you guys can tell, we are obviously starting off this video with Throne of Glass. This is the second book in the series I read. I started off with the prequel Assassin's Blade, and I'm enjoying this so much, even though it's the first book, and I know that it just gets better and better and better, but I'm just loving it. It's very fast-paced. The chapters are short. They have a lot of different things going on, which make it interesting, and I think I got to a really good plot point. I'm about halfway through. I kind of want to finish it tonight because I have like a few hours where I'm just not doing anything, so I might just try to power through and see what I can get through. I also don't want to talk about this specific book too much because this book will be in I think 2 other reading vlogs because it just kind of like worked out that way. But I did want to start filming this video at the beginning of the year just because I thought it would be fun to see how many books it takes me until I get a 5-star read for the new year. So I don't know, I don't think this will be a 5-star read, but I definitely think Throne of Glass will probably be a 5-star series for me. So as we're reading the series throughout this video, depending on how far I get through the series, through like the next few books I read or whatever, because I don't know how many books it's gonna take, obviously, or if I'll be in the mood to read these or what, but you might see a lot of the Throne of Glass series. So I don't know, I'm interested to see if like the 5-star is gonna come from this series, but I really don't think this is gonna end up being a 5-star. There's a lot of great things that are happening and it's fast-paced and great, but even though I'm enjoying it, I just like, I just know it's not a 5-star, you know? So let's go ahead and finish this and then we're gonna go into our next book. are very overdue for an update. Don't mind Taylor on my TV. I was watching one of her reading vlogs, and as you guys saw, I finished Throne of Glass by Sarah J Maas. I'm gonna sit with a 4-star rating on this. I don't want to share any more of my thoughts because one, not a 5-star read, so not really incredibly relevant for this video, especially because it's the first book that we read, and two, it is going to be included in 2 whole other reading vlogs. And then I read Behind the Net by Stephanie Archer. I finished that today actually, and I'm really not sure how I feel about it. I knew for sure it wasn't a 5-star, so I didn't really want to do any clips to stop to film while I was reading because I just wanted to finish it because I knew it was going to be a 5-star. This one is also in that reading vlog, the winter reading vlog. But overall for that book, I really enjoyed the plot. I thought the plot was interesting. I thought it was cute. I liked the couple a lot. It's basically about two people who were in love with each other in high school, and then she turns out to be his assistant, and he's like a famous hockey player, and he's grumpy. She's the sunshine, classic trope. And it was also dual POV, which was great. You know, I love dual POV. And he definitely fell for her first, fell harder at least. And I don't know, some of the things that he was saying because it was dual POV, I just feel like he was almost like too possessive to the point where it was kind of like icky. And there was also so much spice in here, so much spice. Like, not shaming you obviously if you like spice. I like spice too, but I believe that there's like a time and a place for it. And obviously reading tastes change. I think I would have liked this book maybe if I read it like last year or something, but there's just so much spice that just like didn't add to the plot. Like, it was just very unnecessary. The book was like 403 pages, and I don't think that it should have been that long. Like, there were like pages and pages and pages of spice. But then again, my opinion. So there's that. I think I'm gonna rate this at 3.5. That rating might change, but it's definitely not a 5. So yeah. The next book that I want to read is One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. This one is basically about a girl named Elspeth, and on the back it says Elspeth needs a monster. The monster might be her. And I guess there's like this voice in her head that is the monster or something, I think. And then there's like a mist or a fog. I'm kind of confused about it. Obviously I haven't really gotten into it yet, so I don't really know how the fantasy world works, but I am really in the mood for a fantasy, and a lot of people were saying that this was their favorite fantasy read of 2023, even with all the hype between Divine Rivals and Fourth Wing and all that stuff. Like, this was their favorite, and it's a duology as well. So there's one that comes after this. I think it's called Two Twisted Crowns. I think sometimes having a duology is kind of nice because then you just get like the story wrapped up and it doesn't feel like it goes on for too long, because sometimes I think certain series get egged on for too long, in my personal opinion. But we're gonna go ahead and start this, and hopefully maybe it'll be a 5-star. Who knows? Hey guys, boy do I have some updates for you. The last book I finished that I didn't talk to you guys about was One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. I didn't really want to talk too much about this because it isn't another reading vlog. I'm gonna be honest, this was the closest we've been to a 5-star so far. I was really enjoying it, but I rated it a 4.5. It's really not 5-star material. I think the second one, because it is a duology, might be a 5-star, but it just started out kind of slow. And I mean, every fantasy book, in the first one in the series anyways, kind of starts out slow because you have to do world building and kind of figure out the magic and all of that kind of stuff, and you get introduced to new characters, all that stuff. So I wasn't really expecting this to be a 5-star, but a really great read. Highly enjoy it. Not as dark as I really thought it was gonna be. Not darker than honestly any of the other fantasies that I've read. I know a lot of people have been saying that it's kind of like dark and like eerier. I didn't get that vibe, and I'm scared of everything, as you guys know. So I liked it though. And then, as you guys saw, I started Crown of Midnight. I am about halfway through. I just got to part 2 of the book. Something real shocking just happened. I'm not going to talk too much about this one because I am doing a Throne of Glass reading vlog. And then I'm also currently reading 2 other books, of which that I have been reading for months. Like, and I'm talking like since October of 2023. So it's been a minute. The first book is a book that you've probably seen in like other vlogs or heard me talk about, and it's The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle. This is my book club book. Honestly, my book club's gotten so close that we just be chatting now. We don't even read the book. Like, sorry to admit it, but it is the truth, even though we all like love reading so much. And I've said this before, but my book club does like buddy reading, so we read it all together at like the place we are, and we just spend like hours reading the book and talking about it, which is so fun and like so much more interactive than just like taking it home each month and reading it that way and then like talking about the book. But since this one has taken us so long, we're finally deciding to finish it, and I am probably going to be finishing it in this like time range. So I just wanted to share that I am also reading this right now, and this is just a new adult thriller thriller kind of mystery book. It's very interesting. And basically this guy is put into like 7 different bodies and he has to figure out a murder, but he doesn't have any recollection of what's happened before that. So he doesn't really know like why he's there. Like he's just kind of like trapped in this time warp. It's super, super interesting. I don't want to give anything away because it is a mystery. So obviously like those fun elements will be taken away with you if I tell you too much. But that is this book. I'm enjoying it. Don't think it's going to be a 5-star though, especially since it's taken us so long to read this. And then the other book that I've been reading for a very long time, I think since October as well, is Manacled by Sen Ling Yu. I totally butchered that. Sen Ling Yu. There we go. This book, if you don't know, is a Dramini fanfic. I'm just a girl. What can I say? So if you don't know, Harry Potter, it's basically based on that, and the 2 characters, Draco and Hermione. It's basically a fanfic for them that somebody wrote, and I'm listening to it on audiobook right now. It's actually on Spotify. It's not an actual audiobook. It's kind of like set up as a playlist, and it is long. Like it is a long book. And it's also kind of like dark and heavy, so definitely check out trigger warnings if you guys are interested in it. So yeah, those are my updates. So if you see me reading a bunch of different books, that's why, and that's kind of like the gist of them. Right now, I really want to focus on finishing Cat of Midnight so I can get to some other books. But we're gonna be finding that 5-star read, okay? Like I am determined. Been forever since I have talked to you guys for this 5-star video, just because I've been filming a ton of other videos, and obviously since we're filming this since like the beginning of the year, I had to film some other reading vlogs and stuff like that because it's been taking a while to find my 5-star, and it's been a little bit discouraging, but it's fine. We're gonna find one. You know, I'm determined. We will be finding a 5-star. Also, I'm trying out a little headband look today because my hair was kind of greasy and I didn't really want to do anything else with it, or a dry shampoo or anything like that. So just don't pay attention to it if it looks bad, okay? Can we trust each other here? This is a safe place, okay? Come as you are. And if that's with greasy hair, that's what it's gonna be, okay? As for all the other books that I showed in the past few clips of me reading, I just read all of those over the course of a long span of time, and I already talked about them in the reading vlogs and in the wrap-ups that I did. So if you want to see all of my thoughts on those, check out my January reading wrap-up, check out my February reading wrap-up. That'll definitely be up before this video, even though I'm filming this. I think it's like a week and a half until February ends, and who knows how long I'm gonna be filming this video, let's be honest. And speaking of reading vlogs, I also read 3 other books that were in this video right here, my blind date with the book, but I don't want to show you guys those because obviously like it's a surprise kind of thing. So let me just say they weren't 5 stars, and if you want to see my thoughts on them, go check out that video. Now that we're up to date, you guys just saw me with Normal People by Sally Rooney. I just started this yesterday, and I think we're about like 40-ish% through. This is how far I'm in, or I guess this is how far I'm in. So I'm almost halfway through, and I've been enjoying this a lot. And let me just say too, I'm like just reading for this reading vlog right now. So this isn't for any other video or anything like that, so all my thoughts on this will be in this video. But yeah, I'm enjoying it a lot. It's a lot more realistic. It's not really rom-com-y or anything like that, but a lot of the times I enjoy both ends of the spectrum, but it just kind of depends on what mood I'm in. And the 2 main characters are Marianne and Connell. This is 3rd person omniscient too, so you get both their perspectives from an outside source. And normally whenever it's 3rd person, I don't feel as connected to the characters right off the bat, but for some reason I like really feel connected to these characters. I don't know if it's because of Sally Rooney's writing or like what it is, but speaking of Sally Rooney's writing, just to let you know, if you don't know, she does not use quotations with her words. So literally the entire page, there's no quotations or anything like that. So if somebody picked up this book randomly, like they would probably think that it was all just inner dialogue and no talking, but there is a lot of dialogue in here. And I really thought that would bother me, and that's why I've been putting her books off for so long, especially this one. But honestly, like, it doesn't. Like, it's pretty easy to follow. Marianne and Colin in this book are just so interesting. I think that's the best way to describe it, just because I find myself relating to a lot of things that they thought about, because it starts like in their senior year and then it takes them from there, and we're in their college years right now. I don't know like how far we go. Like, I don't know if we'll get them in their 30s or something like that. But because I have been in those stages and I'm kind of like at that stage of life right now, I feel like I can relate to them a lot. And I haven't read a very realistic type romance in a long time, where it's not just like happy-go-lucky and the classic romance plot where like it takes a while to get together, then they have a steamy sesh, so like break up, and then happily ever after. This is definitely not that, and they do not have a conventional relationship at all. It's more of like will they, won't they, lusty, kind of messy in a way, but it's not really like a messy that I can't follow or don't understand, because I really do understand it and like I get it, you know, like I've kind of been there. And normally I don't like those things whenever there is a romance in a book, but for some reason this book can do it, and it's doing it great. Obviously I haven't finished yet, so I don't really know. I think that this might have the possibility of being a 5-star, just because I do feel connected to the characters, and I know that a lot of people say that this book is gonna like tear me apart, and so many people have so much like obsession with this book. So I don't know, I'm interested to see how I feel about it, I guess. I never thought this would be a book that I would rate 5 stars, so who knows, maybe it'll surprise me. Why does it end like that? Why? Why does it end like that? For what reason? Oh my god. I mean, obviously I wasn't expecting like a happy ending, but I wasn't expecting this, you know? I'm just like confused, I think, honestly. The majority of this book is just about Marianne and Connell's relationship over the course of like 4 years or so, and how growing up and stuff like that, they still have just like always been there for each other, always been best friends, always been like the perfect match for each other. And yet there's like, and yet there's just like so many reasons why they're not together. But there's so many reasons why they need to be together. I don't know. There's so much miscommunication in this book, and I feel like miscommunication normally bothers me so much, but in this book it was just so like real and raw, and I think because it's so realistic, that's why like I could stand the miscommunication. Like, this is what real people argue about, real people fight about, real people have issues with, normal people have issues with. So obviously like I get why it's called that and stuff like that, but wow, there were so many like heavy subjects in this book too. I really thought I was gonna be able to read this in like one day, but I found myself having to put it down just because it was kind of hard to read at times. Definitely check trigger warnings if you are interested in reading this. Also, there were just so many parts where they both found themselves in different phases of their life. Like in high school, Marianne was just kind of like the outcast, Connell was loved by everybody, and then in college it just kind of flipped. Connell cares so much what other people think of him, Marianne has really never truly cared about that, and then she grew to, and then all these other things, like there's like therapy, there's other things going on too, and I don't know, like it's just so interesting how they change so much throughout this book. And I will say I was enjoying the first half so much. I even said in my last clip, I was like, who knows, maybe it was gonna be a 5-star type of thing. But at the same time, the second half was just so slow, but it didn't like keep my attention the whole entire time. This book was just so real and raw, and I enjoyed it a lot, even though sometimes it was a like more difficult read. Yeah, wow. I finished Bride by Ali Hazelwood a few days ago. And this book is so hard for me to rate. It's not a 5-star. I'm just gonna say that plain and clear right now. But it's so hard for me to rate because there are so many things that I enjoyed. And there's also things that I was kind of like, what? So we got a lot of different mixed emotions on this one right here. I enjoyed the writing though. We all know I love Ali Hazelwood's writing. I always talk about it. And I can't remember if I said what this is about. It's basically a marriage of convenience with a werewolf and a vampire, and they're doing it because their families like politically don't get along at all. Like they're constantly at odds with each other and like possible wars starting and stuff like that. So that's why they're having the marriage of convenience. And this is actually a paranormal romance too. I don't know if I said that either. It's not a fantasy. Honestly, this book focused a lot more on the political aspects of this world that they have with the vampires and the wares and the humans and all of that stuff than the actual romance. And it also focused a lot on a mystery element, which I was enjoying, but I was kind of confused because once we got to the part that was supposed to be very romance heavy, it just kind of came out of nowhere. There was like 1 or 2 or 3 scenes that had a lot of great tension, and I'm somebody who enjoys tension a lot more than like spice in books, in my personal opinion. I do like the spice whenever there's enough tension that backs up the spice, because sometimes whenever there's just like so much spice, I'm like it just doesn't do it for me for some odd reason, especially right now. Whenever I first started reading, I was like all over the spice, but right now it's just not the vibe for me. And not that this book felt like that, but they barely even had any interactions during the first half of the book, and then the second half of the book he was like, I'm in love with her. In what world? Because I sure am not in that one in this book. I think I'm gonna stick with a 3.75 because again, there were things that I enjoyed. I liked Misery a lot. I liked Low a lot. A lot of the things that he was saying and the way he felt and stuff like that. And I liked them together. It's just I feel like we didn't get enough of them together for me to really, truly believe it. The plot twist at the end too was really great. I think that's what brought this up to a 3.75. I was originally probably thinking a 3.253 because there were also just some interesting things there toward the ends that happened, and I was like, I don't know, I was kind of getting the ick personally. But alas, another book that is not a 5-star. Happy March 1st, by the way. I'm still filming this video from the beginning of the year, and I still haven't had a 5-star since October of 2023. I wonder how many times I've said that in this video, because literally it makes me so upset you guys don't even know. Actually, you probably do know because I said it a billion times. Our next read, I have already started. I just filmed my March TBR like a few days ago, and in that video I ended up telling you guys about me not having a 5-star in a while, and I was kind of telling you guys about that, how upset I am, like I just conveyed a few minutes ago for those of you watching this video. So, but I said all that, and then I asked you guys, I was like, hey, haven't had a 5-star in a while. Like, do you guys have any recs for me? And this is a book that I have been excited to read for a very long time. I've heard wonderful things about, and this is one of the books that you guys really wanted me to read in a reading vlog, and also thought that it could be a 5-star. So I'm reading Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. This is a book in an interconnected standalone. The first one is Part of Your World. I have it right back there. It's that little yellow one right there. And that was my first ever Abby Jimenez book. I enjoyed it. It wasn't really my favorite. I think I rated it like a 3.5 or something like that. I just didn't really feel super connected to the characters, even though I did like them. And I know a lot of people talk about Abby Jimenez's writing. They absolutely love her writing and stuff like that. I didn't really feel that way in this one. Or in that one, not in this one. I do feel that way in this one. This book is about the 2 main characters, Jacob and Brianna. Brianna is Alexis's best friend, and Alexis was the main character in Part of Your World. And Brianna's kind of going through it right now. She just went through a divorce. Her brother is having a lot of health issues, and she's a doctor, and she's just having a really hard time. And Jacob has like very severe social anxiety, and he has a lot of hard time like just talking to people whenever he's meeting new people and in a new environment. And he just started at the hospital they work at because they're both doctors. And this is why I love dual POV, because getting Jacob's POV just means a lot to me. I'm just relating to him so much with his social anxiety, and I don't know, sometimes I downplay that I am an anxious person and that I have anxiety. I'm like, I don't have that, like I'm normal, like I'm not, because I'm just relating to him way too much. Not that anxiety isn't normal, it's completely normal and everybody has anxiety, but it's just crazy to me how much I relate to him and his thoughts and the way things kind of work out for him. Like whenever he first met Brianna, everybody at the hospital thought that he was being a jerk and he was the worst, and they just didn't really like him because he's not like super outgoing and bubbly and whatever. Like he's a nice guy, but whenever you first come up to him and talk to him for the first time, he just kind of like freezes. He doesn't really know what to say. It's just a lot for him, and that's kind of how I am too. And so I don't know, I'm just really loving his perspective. There's so many cute moments that have happened so far. I am about 100-ish pages into this book, and I'm just loving it. I really am eating it up. This is where the Abby Jimenez's amazing writing, rom-com-y moments come in for me. I wasn't a big fan of Part of Your World, like I said, but this one is like just wow. These characters also just feel so realistic to me because they have such like real world struggles, and I'm just loving their story. And also my favorite tropes in here. It just got to the part where it's at, so I'm really excited for that. And there's also another little element that I love in books in here as well. I mean, it's why it's called Yours Truly, and I finally connected the dots once I got to that part. If you've read, you'll know what I'm talking about, but I don't want to spoil it for you, just because when I got to that part, it was just a nice, sweet surprise. So yeah, I'm really liking this so far, and I'm really hoping that this is our 5-star, because I've been filming this video for so long, and I just want the 5-star feelings again, and this is kind of giving me the 5-star feelings so far. So let's go ahead and continue. I'm in my PJs today, and I'm just kind of chilling. I'm filming a few videos. I'm gonna be reading a ton, so I really hope I enjoy this. I'm already having that feeling of not wanting to put it down, so that's a good sign. I just teared up over a hug. Why are they so cute and like so perfect for each other? Like, they've both been through so much, and like seeing Brianna's inner thoughts about Jacob and like how they're just starting to like get feelings for each other and stuff like that, because obviously they started off and like they didn't want anything because they both have like really messy pasts with dating and stuff like that. And oh my gosh, these people just deserve love so much. Like, I'm just rooting for them so much. I'm also halfway through about, I would say. I'm on page 196. And yeah, I don't know, I just find myself not wanting to put it down. I find myself going through it very quickly, and I'll look up at the page number and I'll be like, oh, like 160. And then I'll look up again, like what feels like a few seconds later, and it's like 190. And I'm like, okay, like that's how I know it's a good book. I'm just really falling in love with the story, and I'm so in love with the male main character in this book, Jacob. He is just so precious and sweet and just everything, and he deserves the world. So does Brianna, but like Jacob just is this soft little sweet guy, and I need to protect him at all costs, okay? I love him. This book had me tearing up so many times. That's why I'm even checking in with you guys, because I do think this could be a 5-star. Like, I'm not gonna check in with you guys on every single book. Obviously, if it's not, I'm literally clowning right now, and that's fine. But last night, whenever I was reading this, it really transported me into another world, and I've just been feeling so stressed and anxious myself lately. And so not only reading Jacob's inner dialogue has just kind of like helped me a lot, but this book is just transporting me into their world, and I like lose my stress headaches and I don't feel anxious anymore, and it's just like taking me away from my life and into the book world, into their lives, and I just feel so connected to the characters already, and I'm only halfway through. And that's another way I know that it's a really good book, is that I completely forget all my worries. I don't want to check my phone. I don't want to be anywhere besides reading this book. I'm loving it. I really am loving it so far. I need to take a break. Hello everyone. It is a few days later. I wanted to sit with my thoughts just because, as we all know, I don't like to rate books immediately after I read them because sometimes I get too excited and I think it's a certain rating whenever it's not, or I'm a little too harsh than I actually feel. Let me just say that we started this at the very beginning of the year. It is currently March 6th. We read 19 books before this. It took 19 books to find our 5-star read. Yeah! Guys, I am so happy. It has been so long since a book has made me feel like this, just evoked so much emotion in me. Brianna and Jacob's story was just so good, and honestly, there was a lot of miscommunication in this. And I do not like miscommunication in books, but in this book, it was just so different. The miscommunication was almost because they were wanting the best for each other and they were doing stuff for each other, so they didn't want to be in the way of that, so they were putting the other person first, and it was just such a beautiful thing for these two people to do. Obviously, still not loving the miscommunication trope, but it's fine in this book. One, because I say it is, and two, because it didn't bother me that much. I also just have to say that I know a lot of people say this about this book, but I have never seen anxiety represented like this. There were so many times during this book where I just related to our main character, Jacob, so much. And I also love how it was the guy with anxiety and not the girl. I feel like a lot of the times it's always the girl and the guy is this broody, perfect, whatever. You know what I mean. I like how the guy was flawed and he had things he stressed about, and he was just such a real and realistic person, and I loved getting his point of view. I loved the fact that Brianna was just so confident, and yet whenever it comes to him, she overthought and overanalyzed everything just because she knew. They both knew it was each other, and that was scary for them, and that made things so real for them, and that's why that they both reacted the way they did. And I'm going to read everything Abby Jimenez has ever written at this point. I don't know if this was her most recent book that she just released, but I feel like this book is night and day from the first one that I read from her. I didn't really enjoy Part of Her World as much. I haven't read her other 3 books. Let me know if you think I should read those down below if I really enjoyed this one. But I'm really excited for her new release that comes out in April. I think it's April 2nd or something. It's called Just for the Summer. And I'm just really excited for every Abby Jimenez book from here on out. I loved this book. It's 5-star. It's a 5-star, guys. We found it. And I honestly wasn't expecting it to be this book. I just didn't have super high hopes for it, but I loved it. And this book means so much to me that it literally has a spot up there, that little spot with that book thing where you can display books. That's where this goes. That's how much I love this book. And I'm just so happy that I have finally found another 5-star read. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, enjoyed going on the journey to get a 5-star read with me. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you did enjoy the video and you want to see more of my videos. Let me know if you guys have any opinions on this book or any of the other books that I've read in this video, or any other books that you want me to read, because I just love chatting about books with you guys. And also comment down below the dog emoji in honor of this book if you watch until the end, so I know who the real ones are. If you want to keep up with me more on the daily, go ahead and follow me on TikTok, Instagram, and Goodreads, especially Goodreads if you want to keep up with what I'm reading in real time. And yeah, I think that's it. I hope you guys loved this video. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. I'm so happy that I finally found another 5-star read, and yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys. All that work, and what did it get me? Let's go ahead and start. Let's go hard. What am I saying? Honestly, sometimes I don't even know what I'm trying to say. My brain and my mouth, there's no connection. It's severed. I don't. And now I see daylight. Hey from the future, I guess. No, that would be the past. Hey from the past. No, it's a I'm so confused.